Have you ever felt like you get stuck in your head? Like maybe you're starting to approach somebody. Maybe it's somebody of high status or somebody who's attractive. And the next thing you know, your brain freezes, you change directions, and there's no connection, no conversation. Today I'm going to show you how to free your mind. For years I'd try to go out, I'd try to meet people, but I noticed a pattern. Like my brain would always just freeze up on me. Like maybe I'm approaching somebody who's attractive or someone of high status, or it's a business situation and I really want to meet this person. Like this could lead to other opportunities. I'd start walking towards them, then all of a sudden everything would freeze. It's like my brain shut down, I'd change directions and there'd be no connection. I'm like, dude, what the heck? And then my self-esteem would drop, I'd feel bad. But I realized something about our minds. Our minds always want to move towards comfort. So I learned how to override my mind so I could create these connections and deepen my impact in life and create what I call magnetic energy. So let me show you 5 tips on how to do exactly that. So these are 5 exercises or activities that you have to do. You have to put into repetition. And by doing them, you will literally create flow state within your mind, freeing yourself of that stuck energy. The first thing is what I call free word association. So what it is just sitting, being still for a moment and saying whatever words come up into your consciousness without a filter. So as an example, it might look like this: loose, open, birds, feathers, grass, airport, cars, ocean. So see how easy it is for me just to flow these words out, because I practiced a lot, but I often do this with my clients when I start working with them. And what I'll see is that for some people, they can get like 3 words out in 30 seconds. Because their mind wants to control everything so much, wants to filter everything so much. So this exercise helps us just loosen our frame, loosen our vocabulary, loosen our minds, allow us to go into a flow state. So what you do is you sit for about 30 seconds and just say whatever comes up. Some funny words will come up, some provocative words might come up, but that's okay too. Just allow, just let them flow. And then do this over and over, and pretty soon it becomes easy to say these words. And again, we're just loosening the mind. These are just practices to loosen our mind. Number 2 is what I call rap flow. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna spit 2 bars, or essentially say 2 sentences, but there's a twist. I want you to partner up with somebody, and what you do is you give each other a word. So as an example, say you gave me the word black. I need to make black the last word of my second short sentence, or my second bar. So it sounds something like this: my rhymes are on attack, lights out, black. So see, I created just a short little bar, but I would do it quick. You give me the word, I spit 2 bars. And then I give you a word, you spit 2 bars. Back and forth, back and forth. Don't worry about being a great rapper, it's not about that. It's just about loosening your mind and being in flow state so that you can think quickly, your brain can be loose and adapt. Number 3 is breath and body. And as an example, I used to go to like these business networking events. And I'd always want to meet and connect with people, and I'd realize I'd like start to walk up towards them and my shoulders would contract, my throat would shrink, and then by the time I got up there I was like, huh, and I was in this very tight, contracted, scarce energy. But what I learned to do over time is when I'd feel that energy, I'd get into my breath, which puts me into my body, I'd relax, I'd loosen up, and in doing so, it actually loosens my tonality, meaning the sound of my voice. Because when I'm tightened up here, my voice it has this shrieking sound to it. It's not very attractive. And it also says like, hey, I don't even believe in myself. But when we're loose, we're down here, maybe we have a little more bass in our voice, it creates a more authentic sound. And then people are gonna listen to what you have to say. But we first have to go into the breath to loosen up the body, which will put us into that authentic space. Number 4, and one of my favorite, is what I call breaking the pause button. So for me, oftentimes I notice I'd be in conversation, like maybe I actually got into conversation. Everything seems to be flowing, and then all of a sudden my brain would just go, oh, this is going too good, what's happening, robot? And I'd lose myself, I'd get lost. So what I do now as a practice is I go to the mall or I go to bookstores, coffee shops, whatever it is. What I do is I just engage in conversation. I notice everywhere that my brain just wants to freeze because our brains want to move towards comfort. So you have to override that mechanism of the brain. Brain wants to be lazy, comfortable. We have to override it. Maybe as an example, maybe I'm looking at some clothes, somebody walks by and they have some cool earrings or maybe a lip piercing or something like that. And I look at it and I want to say something and my brain might pause, but I override that system and I just say, hey, that's a really cool piercing. Did it hurt when you got that? And next thing you know, we're in conversation. We're going back and forth, back and forth. And at first it might feel a little awkward, you might feel stiff, That's okay. That's the whole point, is we become looser and looser over time. And I get better and better and more present in the moment. But I'm always doing that. Everywhere I go, I'm connecting here. And pretty soon, whether I'm shopping or I'm in a coffee bar or I'm going out, like I'm giving so much energy out that it starts to come back towards me. And then people are asking me questions like, what do you do for a living? Something's different about this guy. People are asking me questions. But first we have to give it out. We have to get outside of our head and give that energy to other people. And that's how we loosen our mind. Number 5 is to make fun of yourself. What this does is it makes it so we don't take ourselves so seriously. Like the more we can make fun of ourselves, just the looser we get. When we take ourselves too serious, everything revolves around perfectionism. And if we're trying to be perfect, we have to protect everything. Our validation relies on other people and not ourselves. So we can let go of perfectionism, we can validate ourselves, which means we don't need anything from everybody else, and it becomes much easier to communicate. As an example, the other day I was out at the mall, I'm looking at some clothes, talking to these people about fashion, and then they asked me what I was gonna do next. And I was like, oh man, I'm gonna go to the bookstore, because I like to pretend like I'm smart every now and then. And they just kind of giggled a little bit of self-deprecation. Or I'll make fun of the size of my nose and I have these really small ears, like something must have happened here. All that growth went into my nose and not my ears. I don't know what's going on. But if I can make fun of myself, then I can loosen up. I don't have to take myself so seriously, and I don't want to be perfect. Either should you. The last one, and as a bonus here, is all about confidence. Like when you think about confidence, what really is self-esteem or confidence? Is it actually something that's given to us, or is it something that we can create from ourselves? Now this might involve a deeper conversation, but I will just tell you this right now. If you have a choice to choose, why not choose to be confident versus unconfident? It's literally a fictitious thing that's created within your mind. So choose to be confident. If you think about confidence on a scale of 1 to 10, go to 11, go to 100. Why not? As a note, stay in alignment with who you are, because that'll ensure that you don't become a narcissist. But again, if you have the choice, why not choose to be confident versus unconfident? Choose to be confident. I hope you enjoyed these tips, and I make these videos for you. So if you can do me a favor, smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, peace.